Welcome back to English with Amrita. In today's video, we are going to look at 15 commonly confused words that we tend to use on an everyday basis. And for your information, most of us shy away from using these words because we are not aware of the subtle differences between these words. And hence, when we talk in a reported speech, we tend to say, she said or she shouted, instead of using these beautiful words that can make your English sound like a native English speaker and sound advanced. I'm sure these words are going to help you to speak in an advanced fashion, and hence I would request you not to leave this video. Stay with me right till the end and learn 15 advanced English words that are related to talking and speaking in everyday speech. By the way, I said reported speech. What is reported speech? Reported speech is when person A says something to person B, right? And let's say you are person B and you want to tell it to me. That's when you will say, she said that she is hungry. Now, most of us, while talking in a reported speech, use the word said. She said this, she said that, or she shouted. But she may not have ideally shouted, she might have shown some other feeling, but the only common words that you know are shout and said. And hence, I want you to replace these commonly used words with these 15 advanced words that are in store for you now. If you're a new visitor, just a small request before we begin with the video. Do check out my other videos. I've been making content for last 1 year, and if you find my content useful, please don't forget to give me a like and share and subscribe my videos with your friends and family. Also, there's a small subscribe button which is free of cost. We put in a lot of effort for you guys to learn English easily and freely over the internet, and the only thing we request from you is some sort of love in return in the form of likes, shares, comments and subscriptions. Also, if you haven't visited my Instagram page, please do, because there's not even one day that I've not posted on Instagram. Every single day we post some content which is going to help you improve your communication skills, English speaking skills, your personality or soft skills, and some interview tips too. So do check out my Instagram channel. The handle is mentioned here. We also have a small Hindi channel that we are planning to grow in the future, so stay tuned. Now let's get going with today's video and let's look at the words that are related to talking or speaking. We are going to group some of these words together in order to understand the differences, the subtle changes in how you can use them in your daily life while speaking in English. Let's look at the set of 4 words mentioned here. The first one is yell, shout, shriek and scream. All of them, if we ask a layman, would say all of them mean saying something at a loud voice or shouting. All of these are synonyms of shouting is what a layman would say. But I'm sure if you're in this video with me right now, I'm sure you don't want to speak like a layman. You want to speak like an advanced English speaker. And hence, yell and shout can be called synonyms, and they can be used when a person is far away. Let's say you are in a mall with your family and you see one of your friends passing by and you just want to shout and make her stop and turn back and look at you because you want to meet her. You're so excited in that moment. You will say, I yelled at my friend and she looked back. Right? So that's a word that you can use when you want to call someone who is far away. I yelled or I shouted. These are the 2 words that you can use when you want to call someone who's far away. Let's look at the group of 2 other words, shriek and scream. Now they can be used in multiple different situations. Let's look at the first situation where you see a boy slipping on the floor and the boy shouts. If you want to tell that to me, you will say, oh, he slipped on the floor and he shouted. Well, in that moment, he slipped on the floor and he felt some pain. And that's when he shouted in that pain. So when you shout out of pain or fear or surprise, you can say the boy shrieked or the boy screamed, right? Let's say you see a boy who has stuck one of his fingers in a door. In that moment, he's not going to shout. He's going to shriek. It's going to be out of pain. It's going to be, my finger, ouch, right? So he's going to shout or scream in that moment. So these are the two ideal words that you can use when you want to describe someone who is in pain or someone who is scared, right? You see something in front of you, all of a sudden, let's say a cheetah or a lion. What are you going to do? Are you going to shout? No, it's going to be out of fear. It's going to be, she shrieked the moment she saw the cheetah in front of her, right? So she shrieked, which means she shouted loudly, okay? Now shriek and scream have some other uses also. For example, let's say a person doesn't actually utter words, okay? He or she just makes sounds like ouch, right? That is just a sound. That is not a word. Well, ouch is a word, but let's say I just say right? So that is also called shrieking and screaming. So when you only make some vocal sounds, that time also you can describe that emotion in the form of the vocal sounds that you're making by using the words shriek and scream. Another beautiful usage of three words combined together, yell, shout and scream, is when you're angry, okay? Let's say you are attending an important online meeting and your little girl comes in and starts disturbing you. Initially, you are all patient with her and you try and handle her, but she doesn't listen to you. After half an hour, she's still beside you trying to distract you, and you lose your temper. You lose it, you shout at her. In such cases, you can also say, I yelled at my daughter today, or I screamed at her and asked her to get out of the bedroom, right? So when you're angry, you can use these three beautiful words. Let's move on to the second one, not second one ideally, but the fifth word in our list, which is cheer. Cheer is a commonly used word, and I'm sure you must be knowing the use of it. The crowd cheered when Sachin Tendulkar hit the century, right? So that's when you express an emotion out of happiness, joy and excitement. You cannot say the crowd shouted when Sachin Tendulkar hit a century. No, the crowd cheered, right? That's when it's a positive sentiment attached. The next one is whisper. And I'm sure a lot of girls know this word already because that's what we do when we meet each other, right? When you want to tell someone something like a gossip and you do not want anyone else to hear it, you might start uttering words in a slow tone like, hey, you know what? What happened? I've been there and I saw this, right? When you say something of this sort, when you start speaking like this at a really low volume, such that only one person can listen to you, the one you're talking to, and no one else. You generally whisper in ears, right? So you can say that, I met Amrita today and she whispered this incident to me. Do you know? So that's when you say something in a low-pitched sound. The next one, in fact, the next three words or four words are again super confusing, but I'm here to wipe out all the confusion from your mind, so stay with me. Words like mumble, mutter, murmur and grumble. Oh my god, all of them almost sound the same and sound like they're rhyming words, but they have slight differences. The first one is mumble. Now imagine you are a little boy and you have a little sister at home and you both are playing together and you tend to use your sister's toys sometimes to play. And one fine day, you break her Cinderella doll by mistake. You are afraid. you are embarrassed because you do not know how to face the situation. You feel like your parents are just going to shout at you or yell at you, and the only thing that you can do is, I'm sorry, mom, I'm sorry. So you start speaking in a low voice. You start speaking really, really softly, and you start mumbling. Okay, that's the word. You start mumbling, which means what? You say something when you're embarrassed or when you're nervous or you're low on confidence, right? You broke a toy and now you're scared what's going to happen next. That's when you start saying sorry, but not confidently, like, I'm sorry I broke your toy. No, it's out of fear and embarrassment, and that's when you can say, oh, my little brother started mumbling today morning when he broke my favorite toy, right? So that's called mumbling at a low pitched sound. The next one is mutter, and mutter has a negative connotation. It is generally used in negative situations. For example, let's say you go to a grocery store for shopping and the customer service experience that you come across is, well, terrible. The only thing that you can do while you're walking off or walking out of the store is mutter, right? So I saw an angry customer today at the grocery store while I was shopping. He had some arguments with the people at the grocery store, and while he was on his way out of the store, I could hear him muttering. So that's when you have a complaining tone which is low pitched. You do not want everyone to hear everything you're saying, but you are saying something which is negative and bad and saying it at a low pitched sound. These customer service people, I know that. Such a stupid shop. I'm not going to come and shop in this shop, you know. I just hated the experience overall. Next time I'm going to go to the East Coast and go and shop there, right? So that's it. That is called muttering, when you're complaining at a low pitched sound. Another similar word is grumble. Okay, so mutter and grumble can be interchangeably used sometimes. Just a moment. So mutter and grumble can be used interchangeably sometimes. Okay, both of them mean complaining at a low pitched tone. Okay, a negative connotation. The next one is murmur, and although it may sound like mumble or mutter, murmur has a neutral connotation, right? It's not necessarily attached to negative events or positive. It can be neutral. For example, let's say you are going to go and participate in a swimming competition and you know you're not the best of all, but you still need that air of confidence, right? And that's when your mother comes to you and says to you some words of encouragement. So you can say that my mom murmured some words of encouragement today before the swimming competition, right? So she said some words of encouragement for me before the competition today, and that gave me some energy and some spirits to participate and come out with good results, right? So that's murmur. Last one, the eighth one, okay? Not ideally the 8 because we did 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th one, which is whine. Okay, when you whine, you again complain, right? We saw one more word related to complain, which was mutter, and a similar word grumble. But this one, whine, also means complain, but it's generally loud. Let's say your mom says to you, Amrita, you're not going to get a pastry tonight, nor are you going to get a pizza on the weekend unless and until you complete or finish your work or finish your homework, right? That's what parents generally do. You're not going to get to see the television until you finish your homework today, right? And then you tell them back, but mom, I almost finished 50% of my homework. Why are you doing this to me? But mom, right? That's when you start complaining at the top of your voice, and then your mom can tell to your dad that, you know what, Amrita started whining today when I told her that I'm not going to give her any pastry, no TV, no pizza until and unless the homework is complete. right? So that's when you can say that Amrita whined. Now give me a moment, I'll clean the board and we'll come out with the next 5 words. Okay, the rest of the words are here. Let's look at the next word, which is ramble. Now imagine someone who has a habit of talking a lot on several different topics without stopping, and they do not themselves realize that they are talking too much. That's when you can describe that person as the one who rambles. For example, avoid rambling during interviews. During interviews, you need to give answers that are precise and to the point, and you cannot beat around the bush. You cannot talk about XYZ when you're just asked about X, right? So you have to be concise and to the point, and hence you need to avoid rambling. You need to avoid talking about a lot of things at length. The next one is chat. And chat is a common word. We all chat every day, right? These days we also associate it with social media. For example, WhatsApp chat, Facebook chat, right? Instagram, Messenger chat, etc. But chat is always used in informal terms. For example, I saw my little girl chatting with her friends today morning. So chatting is when you're having an informal conversation with your friends or family. That time we use chatting. We cannot say that I saw my husband chatting with his boss today. No, he wasn't chatting, okay, because that's a formal situation. The next one is stutter and stammer, and both of them almost mean the same. That's when you repeat certain sounds because of several reasons. One could be because you have a speech problem and hence you stammer. For example, the Kiran, right? Or when you're trying to say page, right? So when you do this, that is called stuttering or stammering. It could be because you have a speech problem or because you're scared in that moment, right? Something scares you to the core and you are out of words, and the only thing that you can think of really is a few words which come to your mind in a haphazard fashion, and you end up saying or stammering at the end. Like, you know what, I just wanted to tell you, right? So that's when you're stuttering or stammering because you're also scared to the core. So that's not a normal way of speaking for you, but out of fear, you tend to stutter or stammer. The next one is gossip, and that's obvious to be used at places when you see someone gossiping. And gossiping generally has a negative connotation that's generally used for people when they're saying ill things, bad things, negative things about other people and their lives. And that's when you can say that, I always see Sheila gossiping with her friends. I really doubt if she has anything else to do in her life other than gossiping, right? So when she says a lot of negative things about everybody else's life, she is a huge gossip girl, right? So that's the right word to use for gossip when you hear someone saying negative and bad things about others most of the times, right? The last one in the list is snap at. Imagine you tell your wife after a long day at work, you're back home and you tell her, hey, is the dinner ready? And your wife is not in a good mood. Somehow, maybe she had a terrible day, she had a terrible meeting, and the food is not yet cooked. And the first thing you ask her after reaching home is the dinner ready? And she says, dinner? You want dinner? Well, better cook it and have it yourself, right? That's when she snapped at you. That means because she was angry and had a bad day, she responded to you in anger, and it was a quick response, right? It was not something that was thought after, right? So the moment you ask her, dinner, you want dinner? We better cook it and have it, right? That's the reply that she gives you. So that is called snapping back at someone, right? My wife snapped at me today evening when I asked her for dinner. I hope you liked all of these words, and I'm sure these words are going to build your vocabulary. And when you start using them in your everyday speech, your speech is for sure going to sound better. If you liked this video, don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. You can tell me what other topics do you want me to make videos on, and I'll prepare accordingly and make some videos for you. Also, if you're a new visitor, please subscribe and share my videos. Until I see you next. Bye.